Okay, so now let's move down to millennials. Millennials were born 1981 to 2000. This generation, like all the others, have been marked by huge events. They have been marked by the times, okay? So by no fault of their own, this is just who they are. They have been immersed in technology. Technology has been around for them from the very beginning, from the time they were born until now. They immersed in it, they live in it, they're used to having it. They don't remember a time when there was that rotary phone up on the wall. They don't remember the cord of having to go talk to somebody. They've always had a phone in their hand. They've had technology in their homes. They've had computers in their homes. They've had TVs in their rooms. They've grown up with being totally submersed in technology. Now, here's the problem. We know science has already proven and has shown us that even just being away from social media for 1 week improves the self-esteem and improves the self-image. The problem is that this generation has been completely immersed during their formative years in technology, around technology. They've been in the comparison game. They've seen it all. Their lives have been tied to seeing Facebook and seeing everybody else's highlight reels. Now, the problem with this is that we know that social media is anytime it goes off, when you hear that ding, it's like a dopamine hit. Now, what that means to you and what that means to me is this: it's highly addictive. We know it's highly addictive. It's the same hit, endorphin hit, the dopamine hit that you find with alcohol, you find with drugs, you find with any habit forming. And yet, here's what we've done. We've given and put in the hands of teenagers during their formative years. We've given them social media. We've given them technology, put it in their hands. When you have a middle schooler who's trying to figure out their own identity, a high schooler who's trying to figure out their own identity, and we put in their hands all of this push. Now, this is natural for the teenagers to be leaving the parents, to be finding their friend group as the most important, because that's part of assimilating into a tribe, right? So that's extremely important. But here's what we've got to understand, is that now in this moment, we have given them a way of escape that's harmful. It hurts their self-image, hurts their self-esteem. At this age, here's what we find. We have more high school kids, more college students. We have more young adults in their 20s who are stressed out, need to take mental health days, who are depressed, who can't handle the stress of what's going on. And why is that? It's because during their formative years, when they should have been learning to connect with their friends, they are now going to social media. They're going now to behind a screen. They're not learning how to develop personal relationships. Now, this is, again, by no fault of truly, this is their sign, their time. And what they're saying is they have friends, but they don't have deep, meaningful relationships. Why is that important? Because here's what happens is now they're getting into the workplace and there's a struggle. They don't know how to connect with people. Now, let me give you another one. Not only technology was a huge marker for this generation, but the helicopter parents. So the Gen X, what they did is, as they were parents, they were so focused on their family and the ambitions, their connection. They're highly connected people. They love connecting, they love interacting. But what they've done is, when they had their kids, this generation here, they were helicopter parents. What do I mean by that? It's a term that's been used to identify the parents who were consistently at the schools, so parents who were involved in every sport activity. Matter of fact, these kids, they got to be involved in every single sport, every extracurricular activity. The parents made sure that they were there. The parents told them they could do anything. They could have anything they want. They could be anything. Now, here's what happens is as they're told they can do anything, be anything, and the parents are highly involved, then they get so involved that kids, if a kid made a failing grade at school, instead of the parents getting on to the kid or maybe helping discipline the kid to, hey, we need to spend more time in the evenings to get our grades right, the parents, instead of blaming the kid and working with the kid to correct whatever the problem was there, now they're running to the schools and they're correcting the teacher, and the teacher ends up giving grades that the Kid didn't even earn. These helicopter parents, they didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So in not hurting anybody's feelings, when the kids participated in a sport, instead of having winners and losers, now they gave awards to everybody. You got participation trophies for everybody. And what it does is we know scientifically that devalues the person from working hard when they do win. And it also demotivates them. And it also hurts the self-image of the kid who didn't win, but they got the trophy anyway. They know they didn't earn that. And so we have a whole generation have helicopter parents who've been involved who've completely shifted the way in which kids are taught responsibility, how to take ownership for their own actions, and we've gotten rid of that. Then we move into this instant gratification. This generation, anything they want, it's at their fingertips. All they have to do is get on the phone. They just have to say, yep, order it from Amazon right there. They can order it from their phone. They can order it from the computer. They can order it from anywhere. Instant gratification. Anything they want, it's at their fingertips. They want to go anywhere, it's easy. It's press of a button. They got their tickets. They can fly there. They can get in the car. They can go there. They're mobile. It's so mobile. They can travel anywhere they want. Beforehand, in previous generations, as you got up in here, they didn't travel and see the world. We mark the early years. This group, they mark by traveling and getting and going and doing. It's the instant gratification. They don't have to build relationships. They don't have the relationship building skills because during their teenage years, when they should have been building the relationships, all they were learning how to do was get on the computer and interact and connect that way. So they didn't have that conversation. They didn't learn how to interact. And now we live in instant gratification. So even if they wanted a date, what do? They just get on the phone, swipe right, boom. All of a sudden, now they're the stud. They can just go instant, whatever they want. So here's the clash. It's the clash of the titans. So you take this generation who's been marked by all those things, and then you move them into the workplace with these other generations. And yes, it makes sense why this generation is called entitled, because these guys say, hey, you have to work for everything you got. You got to build it. You got to take your time, put in the effort, put in the years before you get there. And the millennials are going, hey, wait, why don't you talk to me? Why don't you mentor me? Why don't you pour into me and help me? They're looking for mentors. They're looking for people. And yet now you have the clash of building relationships. These guys love the relationship. So you come into a conference room and you're sitting in the conference room, and what happens? In the conference room, when we should be talking to people, we should be interacting, these two are trying to interact with everybody. And this group comes in and they're on their phones, and they just stay on their phones until the meeting starts because they don't know how to sit across in the room and interact and talk. So there's this massive clash. So as we're talking as leaders, here's what we're going to have to do. We have to figure out a way in which to lead the millennials. What's it going to take? What's it going to take to lead them and to lead them into this next group and assimilate? Because here's what we have. As leaders, you're called to lead all these groups. As a leader, you're going to have all these different generations within the business. So here's what we need to do for the millennials. We have got to create a space in which we help build into them confidence. Have to build into them, hey, this is how the journey works. Because when they get to work and they don't have mom coming rushing in, or they don't have dad come rushing in and to fix everything, when they realize that there is responsibility for taking responsibility for their own actions, when they realize, oh, wow, I have to actually show up on time, it crushes them. They don't know how to handle that they didn't get a participation trophy. And these two generations are going, it only makes sense. So here's what we have to do. We have to create a safe space to talk about this. We're going to have to create a safe space in order to say, hey, listen, this is what it looks like. Instead of getting crushed by just being defeated or not getting everything you want, or it not happening fast enough, what we have to do is we have to help these guys begin to understand that it's going to take time. You see, the problem with instant gratification is that fulfillment in job, purpose, knowing your purpose, finding fulfillment and satisfaction as far as through work, finding an impact and making an impact, All of that takes time. All of that's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. And matter of fact, some of the things that's going to be worth the most in life, like love, like fulfillment in your job, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen in 3 months. It's not going to happen even in a year. It takes time of putting effort and work in. These guys understood putting effort and time and work in. This group right here, they're not used to the time. They're used to everything being instant. So what we have to do is let's build into each other, create the safe space, and create a conversation where we can talk about the differences between the generations so that we can lead the millennials. They're not bad. They've just been given this hand of each generation has a different way of looking and approaching everything. So what we have to do, find the benefits. Each generation has a greatness about it. And then each generation has maybe something that's lacking. And if we can bring all the generations together, what an incredible gift this would be.